evening everyone, and welcome back to the vlog. What a difference. The last vlog was in the Ken Gorms. If you haven't seen the episode, then at the end of the video there'll be a link, but it was spend a day in the Ken Gorms in snow, wet feet, absolutely soaked by the end of the vlog, and today it's a lovely spring day. So we're off to Glen Etive for a couple of nights camping, which I'm sure, as most of you probably know, but is just near Glen Coe, and forecast is good, should be dry, so hopefully we'll get some nice images, but also a good break in the camper van. It was a camping trip up into Glen Coe and Glen Etive, which actually was part of the decision to move up to Scotland, probably about 16, 17 years ago now. And we had come up to do a bit of a tour of Scotland, but ended up by spending a lot of those 2 weeks actually just down in Glen Etive. We were very fortunate that we had sunshine for 2 weeks, which is pretty much unheard of in up this part of the world. So Glen Etive is one of those places that a lot of people just drive past, heading to their favourite locations through Glen Coe, onwards and upwards, heading north. But perhaps now it's a little bit more recognised from the Skyfall movie, which actually happens quite a lot in places around Scotland where they appear in films or TV series and then become incredibly popular. But Glen Etive is definitely one of those unspoiled places that really is a little hidden gem, and a great place to spend a couple of nights down. It's funny when you're driving an old camper van like this one that top speed of 50 miles an hour. People that are coming towards you are happy and smiley and often wave, pleased to see you, but the people behind look fed up and have had enough of looking at the back of you. It makes for an interesting journey. So I found this lovely spot for the night, right by a little wee burn with a small little waterfall. Got some salmon cooking. Didn't catch the salmon in the burn. It's not quite that, yeah, I don't think you get much salmon up there, but the beer's open. And I think it'll be wraps tonight with salmon and some peppers and onions and things, and then hopefully an early start in the morning. Can't really tell what the weather's going to be doing, but as I say, great spot and a great place to wake up. So let's see what we find in the morning. So it's amazing just how early you can end up by going to bed when you're out camping. It's well, it's 7:30, but hoping to get a really early start in the morning, just as the sun's coming up. So won't be bad to get an early night. And well, looking forward to getting up into the glen and exploring some of the waterfalls and the rivers, and seeing some of the mountains. Hopefully the weather's going to be good tomorrow. It's been a bit overcast today, but well, if the rain holds off, then it won't be so bad. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Well, I've woken up to a beautiful morning here in Glen Etive. The sun's just coming up through the mountains there and given a lovely golden wintry light, so it's absolutely spectacular. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the glen, exploring, seeing what we can find, and yeah, hopefully the day will last like this. We've had a bird of prey just hovering around up in the mountains there, and oh, it's so peaceful, absolutely beautiful. So let's go see what we can find. So what I'm doing is I'm heading up into the hills a wee bit. When you've got a day that's a lot of blue sky with not a lot of cloud cover, it's good to get into the actual landscape itself. And looking back from the road, I've seen some lovely waterfalls up in the hills and some lovely tree coverage. So I'm going to head on up and see what I can find. So I'm following up the burn, and I've spotted up in the hill some bigger falls which look really nice. I mean, it's always difficult to tell because when you're further down they often look, you think, ah, that looks good, and then when you get up there it's hard to get to. But I'm going to follow the waterfall up. It's still very bright sunshine and blue sky, so it's a good place to be. There is a few clouds that cover the sun every now and again, but I mean, absolutely stunning spot. So onwards and upwards. Okay, so I've come to the lower half of the upper falls, and it's difficult to tell from here. I'm not sure which is going to be better to photograph. The top fall looks like it's got perhaps a little bit more drama to it as it cascades off the top, whereas this is a little bit more finer. But what I'm trying to do is include the mountain behind and the trees, but could be that I'm trying to squeeze too much into my image. I'm experimenting with a few rocks for foreground interest, but the waters are lovely and clear, so you can actually see some of those beautiful coloured rocks underneath, and the waters are a blue, clear, lovely aqua colour. Okay, so I'll just show you on the back of my camera. You can see that there's a lot of layers to this image. We've got foreground interest with a rock at the front. We've got the main falls just behind that. Then behind those falls is another hill where we have some trees, some pines. And then behind that, we have the mountain with the sun touching it. So I think possibly we're trying to get too much detail into here, but I mean, why not try? It's a lovely scene. I can't unfortunately get the falls behind it in just off the edge there, but I think I'll try a few shots. I think I'll zoom in and leave out a lot of the foreground, just capture the falls. And then I'll definitely get the long lens on and shoot some nice intimate scenes within the water as well. So anyway, see how we go. But if in doubt, photograph it all, and then when you get it back on the computer, have a look, and we'll see from there. So here's the image. Okay, so I've come to the upper fall, and it isn't as dramatic as perhaps I was hoping for, but wow, what a great shape to this waterfall. It's got this lovely S bend in it as it comes off from higher up. And then we've got these smaller falls just at the bottom of it. And if it was warmer, I'd be tempted to hop into the pool underneath because it's beautiful, clear water. And it's a lovely sunny day, but it's definitely chilly and the water's going to be cold. I expect that's a lot of snow melt off the hills. We've lost the view of the mountain behind, which we managed to capture down below, but what a great shape. So if you look on the back of the camera, very simple composition. I'm shooting it in portrait. I've got the top of the falls just at the top right-hand side of my image there, just cascading down to the bottom left. We've got this lovely S shape, and then finished off at the bottom, we've got these lovely small falls, which is just makes for a lovely shot. I'm shooting on my long lens, 85mm, ISO 64, and probably around about f8, and we'll take a few shots. I'm just waiting for the clouds just to come in front of the sun again, just to get rid of some of the glare off the water. I haven't got a polarizer on because the sun's directly behind me, so it wouldn't make any difference, and I don't want that shutter speed to be too long. So anyway, we'll take a few shots, and here's the image. So it's about midday now, and I think it's time to head back to the van. The sun's quite high in the sky and the light's very harsh. So what we're going to do, head back to the van, get a coffee, recharge my batteries and all the other batteries that need charging, and then a little bit later this afternoon when the sun starts to go low again, head back out and see what we can find. It's funny when you get to this time of the evening how everything starts running out. I've gone to take this, we've gone to take this scene a few times, and of course the batteries are depleting and the memory cards are full, so it's a bit of a challenge later on in the evening having been shooting all day. But anyway, I've come out into the beautiful golden evening light, and it really is quite stunning. The sun is low behind me and it's just capturing the mountains in the distance there. You've got the lovely textures, you've got some dark rock, and you've also got the lovely greens which are being amplified by that lovely golden light. We've got a row of pine trees that sweeps down from the mountain down into the bottom of our scene, and the beautiful big house down on the right. Now, I'm not sure how much of this scene I'm gonna use, but what I'm gonna do is shoot a panorama, multiple images, and stitch them together. I'm not sure whether I'm going to take it from the mountain on the left all the way round or just part of it, but if I take plenty of images then I can decide when I get back. Now the trick is when you're taking a panoramic shot that you're going to stitch together, first of all, you want to make sure that the tripod is nice and flat and level. I've got the camera slightly angled up, but the actual tripod is sat nice and level. And the other thing is you want to make sure that you're shooting in manual mode, because otherwise what's going to happen is if I was moving the camera around, then my exposure would be changing and my warm balance would be changing. And then by the time I got round to this side, the images wouldn't match. So we're on full manual. I'm going to take probably around about 8 images that I can use, and I'm also going to leave plenty of space, because what's going to happen is as it curves around my stitch, I'm going to start to lose parts of the ends of the images because where it's going to be cropped. So I've got to give myself plenty of space. Now, we could say, why not just shoot this on a wide-angled lens and just get the whole lot in? Well, we'd never get the same amount of detail in one image, and I'd never have the same scope for cropping and using parts of the image that I want to use. So let's give it a go. We'll start around on the left, on the big hill on the left, work our way round. The sky's not overly exciting, but there's a lot of blue there, and I'll be able to really darken that off. It might be that it makes a good, actually might make a better black and white, but we'll see. I do like those colours though, those real highland greens and those tones. So we'll probably end up with the big estate house down on the bottom right there with the road going into the image, but we'll see. Let's take a few shots. Let's take the 8 shots from the left to the right, and then when we get back on the computer, we can stitch them together. So I'm shooting on ISO 64, f8 at around about 1/50th of a second. I don't have to worry about my aperture too much because it's a fairly shallow depth of field from the pines to the mountains, and you can see that the light's changing now. We're just capturing the light on the top of the mountains behind, and it's gone very soft. We haven't got those sort of harsh tones, but it still makes a nice image, and perhaps it may have a better balance to it. So I'll take a few more until my light disappears. But anyway, I think that's probably the end of the vlog for today. And what a day it's been. It's been absolutely beautiful here in Glen Etive. And well, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an episode, and leave me a comment below. Have you been to Glen Etive? I know that I've only just touched the surface of it, so if there are places that you've been that you can recommend, then let me know in the comments below. Please take a look on my website. There are limited edition prints for sale, and well, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.